right? So I want you to feel this. This is what they did before they went into battle. And it is a little bit of a battle that we're going through now. We're getting rid of, of old stuff. So another place is here, our solar plexus chakra, where our personal power is. And how many have talked about that our personal power has been suppressed in the workplace or in life, right? And yeah, the other place is voice, right? So they also do this, right? So go ahead, just let her rip. Let's hear your expression of your authentic voice, however it feels like it needs to be. So let's see, so grounding, right? Grounding, feeling your personal power and expressing your voice. And then there's this too. This is the thymus chakra, where it's connected to fear and confidence, right? So this is where this. So I invite you to feel your own, create your own haka, and just this is so we can kind of clear out what's kind of stuck from sitting and listening so much, to embody what we've heard, and instead, because most of the messages come in here first before they even go here. And I invite you to think about, the too much information, we're gonna just let it, you can do a little bit of this too. All the information, the TMI comes into here, and just a little bit of nodding also to tip what you're gonna need into your third eye, into your intuition, right? Because someone talked about that too as well. So let's just, I didn't expect to do this today, but it's just been so amazing, the energy here and how the connection just makes sense to build on what's been happening. Sorry. It's always tech issues, right? That keep us, okay, let's see if we, oh, is Jen Marie's phone, is your phone still connected to that? You did, okay.
It's off. I turned it off, so maybe you have to turn it on.
Let's, oh, thank you. I thought it was, it didn't, it didn't want to. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We don't. I think you guys will generate enough without this music being that loud. So let's go ahead. So I didn't expect to go there, but there was so much meaty stuff here that I felt it might be good. Sometimes we get too brainy, and it's just good to bring it into your body. And I guess that's actually my topic today was from burnout to balance beyond the BS. Because how many of you have lived with or lived your life no pain, no gain? Mind over matter? Right? I think a lot of us, that's where burnout comes from, is that we're disconnected from our body and, you know, we let the brain kind of, it may not always be the best choice, but it lives this choice that we know. So I think if you're someone who has kind of been in this space, and I think so many of us have, where we live in a society where it's very fragmented, and in our everyday lives, our minds and our brain and our body are disconnected. So mind over matter and no pain, no gain is one of those, or a couple of those mantras that we have to notice. That's, as Andrea said, we have to be aware. We have to notice what's going on and make the effort to go beyond the BS of our BS, the BS of our belief systems that we've been raised in and that no longer serve us. So I think and this is another issue, is that we've seen this as a personal glitch rather than a systemic one. That we say, oh, if only I ate better, if only I didn't do X, Y, and Z. But this is also BS, because all the responsibility for our health has been foisted back onto us by the system, because it hasn't been able to find the solutions that are necessarily work for us. I mean, I get so many people who come to see me who say, I've tried everything. I don't want to go to my doctor again. They're just going to give me more pills or tell me to wait until it's so bad they're going to do surgery. So, this is again about noticing earlier. So one of the first So this is caused by this fragmentation of our first world culture, of the specialization in our healthcare system, that when you don't show up, if something doesn't show up on a lab report or a spreadsheet, then they say it's in your head, or they put you on this specialization merry-go-round and whip you around until you're so overwhelmed that you just go, oh my God, now what? And as always, you feel like it's your fault, right? Oh, if I just did this, if I just did that, if I just did that. And actually the solution is, and someone else said it, whole. The solution is wholeness. That if we were in a system that was more whole, that was holistic healthcare instead of fragmented or specialized, then the practitioner would be dealing with the whole person and would be able to identify what's going on with you. Because that's the ultimate DEI. Diversity means you and you and you, because no one in here is built the same. Your back problem may be different than that person's back problem. Somebody else's ism comes from a different place than another person's. And how many of you know that actually all of our pain and sickness starts in the energetic level, right? In that stress level. I'm sorry, what's that? This ease, right. And unfortunately, we live in a system that only knows how to deal with the symptoms that show up, and which are usually not the place where you need to look. So this is why the first thing I ask people to notice is what comes to mind when I say holistic healing. What does the word holistic mean to you? And anybody have
From the inside out?
what's that?
From the inside out?
From the inside out, great. Natural? Yeah.
Well, you just kind of said it there, whole,
Whole.
as a whole state of everything
Yeah.
and balance with each other.
Yeah. And I think that, this is a very enlightened room. So, but most, when I say it to people, they say, oh, it's woo-woo, right? So this makes so much difference, right? Depending on what your, right? Words matter, right? Depending on what your thoughts are, that impacts how you're going to connect with me, I'm going to connect with you, and how this will impact your healing. So I think that what I'm inviting people to notice is that let's expand the meaning of holistic. Because I represent a holistic healing system called Willow, which was based on 3 forms of medical science, not just 1, 3. Western, Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, space. But it's the integration of the 3 which has given it its power. Because I discovered myself, in my journey with Chinese medicine, how it also hit a wall. So when I found this system that integrates all of them, it was like, results are like this. So based on 3 forms of medical science that deal not just with, your back issue or your heart issue or whatever, but also all levels of your human beingness, right? Whether it be your physical, your emotional, your mental, your systemic, that's your families and your circles, right? Your connections, as well as your soul level. So, I think that when you expand that definition, then you can also notice the possibilities. And I usually like to stop right here and invite somebody up so that I can show you how important it is that you, number one, pay attention to the body, which has been, we've kind of relegated it to the folks in the mainstream medical system. We do have body workers who are, struggling mightily to say, hey, there are other solutions, but their alternative woo, whatever, right? But let's, do I have anybody who's willing to come up and be a voluntold? Yeah, come on up. So one of the things that, one of our primary or signature modalities is called the body organization. Because what happens is that, this is our temple, our house, right? And we all have a circuit breaker. Do you guys all have a fuse box or a circuit breaker in your house? And what happens when there's too much load on a particular circuit? It blows a fuse and you don't get any power to that circuit, right? So actually what happens in life is really simple. We go through life, and even though it's a beautiful world out there, it can freaking kill you, right? So the fear, fight, and flight mechanism was also designed to protect us. And what happens is that we experience all kinds of stress, traumas, and fears, and it comes into your body, and before you even have a chance to process it in your brain, it blows the fuse. So then things start to not work. And the first place where things don't work is your gut. Because this is your emotional intelligence, this is where all of that comes in first. And then people start to think that, again, that it's the food, that it's I'm not eating healthy enough or whatever. When essentially it's just that you've blown that circuit and your body says, please, I can't process your food too. I'm processing your emotions, I'm taking care of this, that. And the second thing is that, tissue regeneration. So this is that aging thing, right? So people talk about longevity medicine now. And one of the first things to notice is that, senior years don't have to look a certain way. If we reset our circuits, the body comes back like fresh out of the box, factory settings. Of course, there's always stuff that you'll never be totally back to. But so the first thing that it does is do any of you know muscle testing?
Yes.
Okay, so the body is an amazing thing. It knows the truth. The brain is the thing that makes up all of these wonderful stories, because it does. It has the capacity to do that, to make up stories that keep the BS alive. So this is why we say it's important to relegate the brain to team member instead of boss. So I want to get a strong muscle first to test what's going on. And these are all adjustments from the body organization, and I'm going to test 5 main circuits to see if she's got blown fuses. Okay, so let's get a strong arm first. So her arm's a little bit weak. I'm going to just resist my push. Good. What's the first thing that we do when we go into fear, fight, and flight? Does anybody?
Tense.
Yeah, we can try this. We do this so our head doesn't get cut off. And we rotate so that we don't look so big and that big scary thing can't see us. So I'm going to check to see if she's got a rotation in her body. Okay, is this good? Okay, yeah. So, unlike the testing that we have to do in healthcare, this doesn't hurt. You get results really quickly, and there's no blood. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix after I've tested. And these are techniques that you may notice from a lot of different modalities. The developer knew about 35 plus before she invented this. So resistably, there we go. This circuit's set and strong again. Okay. Let's check the other side. Resistably. Okay. She's double rotated. Boxing, right? Been doing a lot of boxing in your life? There's scoliosis. Okay, so this, right? So these things that people think they have to live with, maybe not, right? Because it not only releases the stress patterns, it also realigns. now we're basically unwinding her body so that it's no longer like this. Okay, so let's check now. Let's check your neck, because how many of you deal with sleeplessness, brain fog, right? So this circuit gets blown a lot resistantly. I'm pushing harder this time. Do you feel the difference?
It feels like you're not pushing as hard.
Right. So this is the first thing I always, because there's this, that all of us have the skeptic, right? No, what are you doing? So I want to assure her that, let me show you something something else a little funny about our nervous system, right? So now take yourself back to before you came out here, okay? And now resist the breathe. Okay. So this is the nervous system, not knowing the difference, not knowing time. When she thought about back then, that circuit was blown. Now bring yourself back into the present moment, into this, okay? And I'm not even going to correct. Now, resist the breathe. Okay. Did you feel the difference? Mm-hmm. And that was you bringing yourself into the present, out of that past experience or that set of experiences that made you go like that. Okay. So let's try another circuit. Let's have you stick your tongue out to the right. Let me show you. And this one, this is one of the most important ones, because stick your tongue out to the right, resist and breathe, and to the left, resist and breathe. Let's work this. Tongue out to your right again, resist and breathe, and to your left, resist and breathe. So this is the command center. Someone else mentioned vagus nerve. There's a lot going on here. If this is constricted, then the messages from brain to body and back are not clear. They're wonky, and our bodies get wonky. So that's another important place too. Another thing I'd like you to do is go ahead and put your fingertip in your ear, but don't pop. I'm going to check her pelvis, because that also gets rotated, and that's why so many people have, hip and pain, hip replacements. There's so many hip replacements. So let's go ahead and so go put both fingertips in your ear. So basically, I'm just resetting these fuses so that the body can do what it was designed to do. It can heal itself, but not if all the circuits have been blown. Right? So this is, and let's test one last time. Go ahead and put your fingertip right here. This checks her gait, how she's walking, and this, depending on what shows up here, it could indicate that there are lower back issues, whatever, back issues that are causing her to walk weird. So resistantly. And because she mentioned she has scoliosis, that was likely to show up. Thank you. Great. So this is the difference when you have a system that's truly holistic and that is also not so interested in putting you into a box, right? Because what our current system is designed to do, and I'm not saying this judgmentally, it's just what we've been trained in, what we know. But when you're not going directly to the circuit breaker, you're waiting for certain test results or whatever to then prescribe, and you might be prescribing for something that's not the problem. And this is why, somebody mentioned diabetes. That's also another huge problem because that doesn't necessarily always have to be, the markers don't necessarily mean diabetes. It could be something else. And if they're then putting people on medication for all of this stuff, then they're getting more symptoms, more side effects, and you've created a whole nother beast. So that was, okay, the first problem, solution, right? The second one, which, this is a little bit, I'm trying to, so the mind over matter thing, right? How many of you know that this is actually not that the mind isn't just in your head? Yeah, the mind is actually the software that's running through your entire body. This is the brain, but the mind is actually one with the body. You know how they say mind, body, and soul? Those are not two distinct things. Those are one thing. And when we don't pay attention to the symptoms or the signs that our body's giving us, that it's ill at ease, that it's not happy, we're just encouraging us to think our way out of it. It creates this conflict, which again creates dis-ease, right? So you may also know about toxic positivity, right? That's kind of the ultimate when we're just imposing this positive mindset when your body doesn't feel it. That's also pretty harmful. So this is why we say it's so important to really listen to the body, and not just listen to it, but like through muscle testing. And we actually do something even broader than just testing with certain, I think many of you know, you may have certain practitioners that do muscle testing, but we also have developed a system where you can test through the entire system of your humanness. So I'm going to ask for one more volunteer. Someone who you can ask a question, but it has to be a question that you don't mind sharing in front of a room. Okay, so because, okay. Well, maybe we have time for two. So you raise your hand first. Did you, Lori, right? Yeah. So actually muscle testing is, when some people see it, they say, oh my God, that's so woo-woo. But it was actually developed by a doctor, by a Japanese American, I think he was an oncologist, but anyway. So a lot of these things, a lot of these pieces were developed in the United States, but somehow we haven't let them be accepted here. Something about the system something about the system has not allowed it. And it's just like jazz, right? Jazz had to go to Europe before we appreciated it. But anyway, so muscle testing was another one of those things that was developed here but had to go, across the world before it came back. So let's see, Lori, right? And are you right-handed? Okay. So make a thumb and a fourth finger ring, okay? And the O ring is probably the most accurate. There are other ways that people do it. You might know of them already, but because of all the muscles in our hands, it's very refined to do it this way. So just say, my name is Lori.
My name is Lori.
Okay. And now say, my name is Val.
My name is Val.
Yeah. Okay. I exerted almost no pressure to pull it open. The body always knows the truth. Okay. So let's see. So muscle testing. Yeah, muscle testing also uses a lot of water. Right? This is why it's the information carrier to our body. That's why it's so important to stay hydrated on so many levels. Okay, yeah, that's
Hydration.
yeah. So
It's important.
So when you're not, when I'm not, or the client isn't properly hydrated, the answers can get wonky. So what's the subject matter or the question you'd like to ask today?
What is wrong with my lower back?
Okay, let me just check. Is that the question? Go hold together. Is that the optimal question? Yes, okay. Is it optimal to look at the root cause again? Yes, first, yes. Is there one? Is Lori aware? No. Am I aware? Okay. Is it in so we have a protocol which checks both the client and myself to be sure we're, going forward in the right way. So I'm aware, yes. Is it in the systemic? Yeah. So lower back issues, there can be, is it systemic? Yeah. So lower back issues, that's root chakra issues, yeah? So there can be, what we hold there is financial insecurity, existential fears, mother issues, or issues as a mom. And so it said to me that actually the root cause was not in the physical, it was in the systemic level. Is it? It's mom issues. Are you a mom? Are you going through any issues with your mom? No. Okay, let's look at this one. Is it financial insecurity? Yeah. Does it come from your lineage? Yeah, there's financial insecurity here, but which is coming from her lineage. So, let's see. Is she aware now? Yeah, you're aware now. Does that resonate with you? So, solutions, is it optimal to look at solutions now? Yes. 1, 2, okay, 1, just 1. Is she aware? Am I aware? So what would you say the solution to that is? If the root cause of your back issues are financial insecurity coming from your lineage, what might the solution be?
It's the NLP. Healing.
Yeah, NLP might be a good solution. Yeah, and this is what I always test, right? That, I might have come up with something, but it's important for me to check if she's aware, and I go to her first, because everyone is the best expert of themselves, right? I'm just another expert in the room, but you know yourself better than anybody else. So that's why I checked with her, and if she said NLP, that tests strong. I was thinking perhaps a ritual or reinforcing trust or faith in her life. But yeah, that also is a good solution. Anything else to test today? No. So that's how we can also get to. I'm sorry. Thanks so much. Okay.
Neuro-linguistic programming.
So anyway, thanks so much. My time's up. Was there another solution? Anyway, I'll be here next Tuesday. No. I mean, you can see me afterwards and we'll chat. Oh, you have time to wrap it up. Okay. Maybe I just touched on all of them. Yeah, I did. See, this is what happens when we move, right? Before, you might be all kind of jangled in your brain, but